Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name's CritterXD. In today's video, I will be talking to another TikTok creator about his first experience reading the Wheel of Time books. That's right, he just finished A Memory of Light not long ago, so we hopped on a TikTok live to just gush. We talked about the things we hate, Gawain. We talked about the things we love, the books that are our favorites. No topic was left undiscussed, no stone left unturned. So this isn't going to look super normal because it was recorded as a TikTok live, but if you just listen to it, it'll be like a podcast, or you can watch it, it'll just be vertical orientation. Trust me, it will be worth it if you've read all of the Wheel of Time books, because there will be many spoilers, so stop here if you haven't read them. I think you will get a lot out of this. I love to see Anex's enthusiasm. He was so happy with the way the book series ended, and I'm just happy for him that he finally made it all the way through after working on them for some time. Anex's details are in the description of this video. Check him out on TikTok. I know he's got a YouTube, and he's on Twitter. He is a great guy. He knows so much about so many different fantasy things, including the Wheel of Time and Lord of the Rings, so he's definitely worth a follow. As always, I would ask you to please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, like the video, comment on the video if you have any thoughts, and just send Anex some love for doing this with me, and come back next time. With all that being said, let's get into it. Oh, here we go. Anex is inviting me.
Hey.
Hi! It worked!
Yeah. Oh, it worked. That was really loud. Oh, wait, one sec.
Oh, sorry.
I had my volume on. No, I had my volume on so high.
Oh, okay.
How are you doing?
I'm great. This is the first time we've ever talked like out loud, right?
It's kind of weird, isn't it? Because I've
really
been watching your videos for so long.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
And then and you were literally the city, but yeah, you were.
I know.
Busy doing cool Wheel of Time things.
I know, because we like messaged back and forth a little bit, right? Whenever I was there, and it was just a bit of a whirlwind that weekend.
Yeah. It must have been crazy. Just that whole experience.
It was really crazy, honestly. It was I had never been to London, England, anywhere. I had never been there before. So I think the first day we landed at like 10, and it was a free day, like no plans. And so I was like, it's my chance. So I just derped around for an entire day, trying to see as much as I could. So it was awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot you probably missed, so you need to come back.
I know. I intend to. I definitely intend to. Wheel of Time fan says, two wonderful people at the same time on my screen. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't realize that I couldn't see your comments and you can't see mine.
I remember that from the one other time I've done this. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna let everyone know this is gonna be a full spoilers for Wheel of Time. Yeah.
Full spoilers. 100%. I put that in the name of my live. It's WoT spoilers chat or something like that.
I must have put it somewhere, but I can't find where it is. I will just remind people again.
Right before we say anything mind-blowing, we'll say full spoilers.
yeah. Before we, about that thing in Memory of Light. We'll just let everyone know there's going to be full Wheel of Time. I put the Memory of Light poster behind me as well.
Oh, I love that.
Just to warn everyone.
That probably warns them, hopefully a little bit, what's coming.
Yeah. But the first time I went live, I forgot to put that poster up. So I started live, and then I didn't realize, so then I had to end it to put that up again. It was a whole mess getting started, It was a whole thing.
Well, we're here now. Whip it up, and it looks great.
So wait, someone said they're rushing through the Stormlight Archives now. So you can. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Stormlight Archive. You've read all of them, right?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. I basically rushed through them as well.
Yeah, I've only read them one time, so I need to reread because I always absorb way more. Whenever I've been doing the Stormlight quizzes that have been circulating, I am so bad. I just don't remember the details.
Yeah, I don't people. So I think one of the questions was who is Kaladin's bridge master? And I was like, I have no idea. I read this book 2 years ago.
Literally.
So I'm really bad with the details as well.
Same. Yeah.
So I just remember the big picture stuff. I don't remember the small things that happen.
Same.
Yeah. Love from Norway. So cool. Yeah. So let's talk some Wheel of Time. The ending. Can I say the ending? So full spoilers for Wheel of Time.
Full spoilers.
The ending was amazing. Oh my God, that chapter. Those, I mean, the fake out deaths were kind of annoying in a bit.
Yeah,
Like, there were some people who was like, oh, I keep saying like some people. I forget that I can say the names.
you can. Full spoilers.
Okay, so when Lan we thought was dead, that was heartbreaking. But I was
Yeah,
like, this is the perfect way for Lan to go, fighting Demon Dread. Because there was that whole thing where it's like he fought Garwin, and then Galad, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, why
yeah.
is he showing Demon Dread fighting both of these people? I don't get it. And then Lan went up to fight. I was like, oh right, okay, I see. It's to show
Here we
how
go.
much cooler Lan is. Like
I
Garwin
also just
fails, yeah,
uh the line, the I didn't come here to win, I came here to kill you. I was like,
yeah.
oh,
Oh my God, yes.
that's like one of the best lines. I will never
Mm-hmm.
forget that one.
There was like a Reddit thread where they were posting like the most amazing quotes, and I literally was like tearing up at some
Yeah,
of the things because I was like, this is amazing. There's so many cool things happening, and it's like so many cool moments. But yeah,
yeah,
and then like so I was like, yeah, okay, so Lan is dead. He's gone. I was
right.
sad because I was like, Nynaeve was going to be broken.
Yeah.
Um, and then did Rand bring him back? Is that what
So
happened?
so Sanderson like teases that all the time. He says, like
Mm-hmm.
whenever I think at the end of the show, so spoilers for the end of the episode 8 of the show, we were all mad because it's like you can't bring people back to life like from the dead. That's a thing that's established in the Dragon Reborn. We know it to be sure. And he kind of like, I think in his he did like a watch party with the Dusty
Yeah.
Wheel, and he's like, I'm not gonna say whether or not Rand brought Lan back after he died in the final battle or whatever. And I was just kind of like, I don't love that if that's what
Mm-hmm.
happened, but at the same time, how did Rand light the pipe? Is it the same weird power
Yes.
over
Oh
the
my God.
universe?
Yeah. When I read
Um,
that line, I was just like, oh my God, he's never gonna explain it, is he? We're never gonna know how it happened.
I don't think
So
he is.
yeah.
It's another one of those things that you're just kind of like,
Um.
who is Nakomi? How did Rand light the pipe? Was Lan dead? There's so many things that I want to
Mhm.
know, but also don't really want to know because it's kind of
Yeah.
fun to speculate.
It's that cool feeling of like you finish the story and you think like there's so much more to happen. Like there's the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing with like Camelin is destroyed and Elaine has to set that up. There's the Black Tower and the White Tower and Cat Swain is now the Armelin and there's so
I
much
love it.
story left to tell. And like what's
Yeah.
gonna happen with Matt going to Shanshan and there's so much story to tell, but he just doesn't, and it feels like, oh, this is fine for the story to end here.
Yep.
Like it's it's a great ending. But yeah,
It
so
leaves
the
it
land comes back to life,
right.
um, which was great. And then I mean, land fight with Demon Dread was great, and then the whole death is lighter than a feather, duty heavier than a mountain. That whole thing came full circle.
Yep.
And when like Land stands up holding up Demon Dread's head, and then just breaks the army, that was amazing.
Amazing. Agreed.
Um,
Agreed.
but
Oh, and
I
then
think I made it. Yeah,
Galad was a fake out death too, because you said you didn't love all the fake out deaths because he
yeah.
he looked
So
pretty dead.
hmm
And then
I thought he was gone. Garvin
yeah,
really died, which I didn't care about.
I literally, it could have happened earlier.
So annoying.
The worst, the
Hmm
worst. I
I
feel like
mean,
I
your
can't.
favorite character is Egwene, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I have to write a fine line with Gawain because it's like I don't think he had anything to do with her ultimate end. Like I think she made that choice for
Yeah.
herself to like save the pattern basically. So like I don't want to attribute any of her sacrifice, spoilers for the end of A Wheel of Time, to him, but at the same time he didn't make her life any easier. Like he was
No.
constantly working against her. He literally went to face a Forsaken with a gosh dang sword thinking this is a good idea. Like yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Exactly.
bonded to the Amerlin seat and I'm gonna go fight a Forsaken with a sword,
Yeah.
and if I die she might just lose it. Like he's
Exactly.
the
It's
worst.
he didn't even think. He didn't think. He didn't even think about that. Like the fact that like there's flawed characters in Wheel of Time, right? There's characters who make bad decisions. And you're like,
Oh yeah.
I get
Oh
why
yeah.
you did that. Garwin is just selfish.
So selfish.
Garwin only cares about himself.
Thank you. I hate
Yeah,
I hate
Garwin just like, yeah, he's just like, I don't get defied. Like she doesn't bond me. Like it's all about him, and it's so annoying.
So annoying.
But
And he always knows the most, you know? He always thinks he knows better. Like, any choice that Egwene or Elaine or even Nynaeve make, he's just like, well, that's clearly not them making the choice. It's somebody else making the choice for them. Therefore, I hate Swan and everybody else. It's like, no, you can just go sit down, boy. Anyway,
he's so patronizing. It's annoying.
Literally.
And the craziest thing is, when I started the series, like I had heard the whole thing about like Gawain is the worst, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, but no, surely Galad is the worst. Gawain is a nice like brother who likes Egwene, and it's like, cool. Galad is surely the annoying one, but no. At the end, you're like, Galad is. I mean, I don't love him, but I get
like
where
him.
He's coming from. I like him.
Yeah.
And he's gonna do some good things going forward. Gawain can go die in a hole, and I'm okay with that.
And in fact, he did, thankfully.
Yeah, and he did. Someone said, can we talk about the greatest hero of the story, Bella? Oh my God, Bella. I was spoiled actually on Wheel of Time spoilers full. I was spoiled on the fact that Bella died.
Yeah. How?
Because I was watching like a Sanderson Q&A for like Oathbringer or something. And the first question was, why did you kill Bella? And I was like, damn it, now I know. Now I know. But yeah, the way she died, you know, like saving Arthur, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
When gallops off into the distance, right?
Yeah. It's like she was slow and they kept talking about it. And then, and then she really came through in the end.
She really awesome. Did. I actually had a question about Bella. Kraken Suburban has thoughts about Bella being the creator. I think that is a silly theory.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I am not team Bella as the creator.
That's my favorite Wheel of Time theory. That Bella is the creator. Because it's true.
Is it?
Well, think about it. Okay. She was in this village that had 3 Tavirans and these 2 of the most powerful channelers just hanging out in this village. She conveniently goes out with them, is with some of the main characters throughout, just watching, just observing. And then when the time came when she needed to be fast, she was fast and she was awesome.
Rand made her fast. He channeled for her. I laugh. I think it's what?
Wait, Rand? Was that Rand?
In the first book?
Oh, no. In the ending.
Oh gosh. Okay, never mind. Maybe I'm wrong.
Because like she really came through for them in the end. So she could have been the creator. It's my favorite theory. The number of warning signs he had not to put on those rings. I'm assuming Gawain again. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm not going to pretend that he didn't do good things. He did. He did save Egwene's life.
Yeah.
In the tower, even though she told him to leave and she was mean to him. But he kind of deserved it. But yeah, he did. She did tell him to leave, and he came back, and him coming back did save her life. But then he just had to go too far.
Yeah, I think he saved her life once. Good on him, and that's all I'm gonna give him. He was otherwise a liability the entire time.
The whole thing with the younglings and his whole hate, and like everyone kept telling him, Rand didn't kill your mother, and he was like, no,
not listening.
And then when he finally forgives Rand, he's like, oh, it's such a good thing. Like I did such a good thing forgiving Rand. It's like, for what?
Literally, he did nothing to you. So relax.
He saved your kingdom, and you're like, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm so like magnanimous for giving Rand. What?
It's a problem.
This is a Garvin hate page.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
we're in it together then, because oh my gosh, I'm the in-character Egwene account on Twitter, and I hate on him a lot, and people are always like, even Egwene hates on Gawain. I'm just like, yes, because this is an enlightened Egwene. The book Egwene didn't understand like what she was doing with Gawain, at least.
Yeah, but let's pivot to our favorite characters,
please.
So Egwene.
Yes.
Why is Egwene your favorite?
I just think she has some of the most incredible moments in the series, and like the growth that we see from her is so much fun. Like Nynaeve grows a lot, Matt grows a lot, and I feel like Egwene goes from this just like I want to get out and have a good time to, you know, you get how incredibly intelligent she is. She's a knowledge sponge, which I really appreciate, because it's not just the power that she uses to help people, it's knowledge as well. Which I think brings it more into the real world. And then, spoilers for the entire series of The Wheel of Time, in the Gathering Storm, well, I mean, throughout she does some really awesome stuff, but in the Gathering Storm, whenever she unites the novices, teaches them how to link, and then just like
Yes,
yeets fireballs out the side of the building to like
that
basically
was epic.
defeat the Shan Chan force almost single-handedly by
Yeah.
like coordinating
Hmm.
a bunch of novices. I get goosebumps every time I read it. I like cry every time I read it. It's
Yeah.
so good. And that's not even the climax of her arc. Like then we get to A Memory of Light, and it's like she's just incredible. Like she comes up with a counterweave for Balefire, which has been a persistent problem throughout the series that no one has ever figured out. And in order to like heal the pattern and take down one of the Forsaken simultaneously, she ends up sacrificing herself. And if anybody had to sacrifice themselves, I feel like it was so appropriate for it to be her, because everyone like a lot of people's critique of Egwene is that she's selfish, and in my mind I'm like, how? Like, did you read the same books that I read? She's so selfless. But anyways, that's I love her. She's a complicated character that I in some ways relate to, who has some of the best moments in the series.
She did, yeah. I'll be honest that mine is cliche. Mine is this fella right here.
Okay.
Rand Althor. It's but with Egwene, I'll be honest that I wasn't a big fan of Egwene for like the first few books, because like she's just with Nynaeve and Elena and just doing things. And when she was with the Aiel, I was like, sure, she's just learning some Aiel stuff. It's when spoilers, she gets called to be the Armelin. I was like, that's when she got really interesting for me. I was like, oh, okay, now she's doing something cool, and now it's like she's taking charge.
Yeah.
Because until then she was sort of following, and she was like with the Aiel and she was just learning. But it's like now she's taking charge and now she's doing things, and it was just badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Gathering Storm, that scene was amazing. That whole scene was just excellent.
Yeah.
But my favorite is Rand. I think I was always like, oh, my favorite is like, oh, I don't know, Perrin or like Nynaeve, because I didn't want to say Rand because it felt cliche to say Rand.
No, I don't think so.
But it's honestly, throughout the 15 books, I don't think there was a single moment where I was bored with Rand. I was like, it's like, there was moments where I was like, oh, I don't care about the Nynaeve storyline right now, or I don't care about the Matt stuff right now, but I don't think I was ever bored, honestly, with Rand.
Okay.
Because, because he's doing the stuff with the Aiel and he's becoming the Karakan, and then when he comes back and you're like, oh, now he's just doing politics, but then he gets Lewis Terran in his head. I was like, oh, now you're mad. Now you're crazy.
Right.
And it's like, now you're just going absolutely insane. And so it's like always fun to be in his head.
Fair.
And also like his whole arc from the beginning to end of like just making the mistakes over and over and over again until finally realizing like what he has to do.
Yeah.
Is amazing, I think. Yeah.
There was like a tiny little part of Rand's arc whenever he was like, I need to be hard as Gwendiar. Like that part I didn't love. I got kind of annoyed with like I can't be compassionate anymore Rand. But it made sense why he went through that. He was definitely never boring.
That's literally, and then I think my favorite Rand is in Gathering Storm.
Yeah.
Where I feel like maybe between like book 11 and book 12, there was like a bit of a step that was skipped, because it seemed like, oh, that was a big jump from book 11 to 12, because up to then it was like slowly getting harder, and then book 12 he's like, oh, he's hardcore Rand.
Like Natron's Barrow, I think, was the beginning of Gathering Storm, was it? I can't remember.
It was somewhere near the beginning, when he literally killed like 200 people to kill one Forsaken.
That was crazy.
Oh, this I was like, up to then Rand is like interesting and he's kind of going mental, and it's like something is going wrong with this guy. But at that point I was like, oh, now I'm scared of him. Because I was like, now I get why
this guy's terrifying.
he's scary in that book. In the Gathering Storm until it gets worse and worse, and then when he meets Tam, oh my god. That talk with Tam Gathering Storm is amazing.
Whew, yeah. I mean, high emotions for sure.
Yeah.
He had some of the most emotional scenes for sure in the books, I think. Like him and I think Nynaeve, like my husband rides for Tarwin's Gap or whatever, that line was incredible. But then when she broke her block also, I feel like you could just feel like everything that she was feeling in that scene, and obviously that was just Robert Jordan being incredible at showing you what was happening. but no, Rand probably without a doubt had the most emotional scene. Someone in my chat, Muddy Midwife, says the Min scene. I think we were probably talking about when the Forsaken.
The Cimarron?
Thank you. Yeah, whenever she
Yeah.
like took over Rand or whatever, that was
Oh, with the eye dove, and then he starts strangling her. That was scary.
horrible.
That was a genuinely terrifying scene.
I hated that. I hated reading that. But good, still very emotional.
That was, and then I think it was after that he just went full sort of hard, wasn't it? I mean, he became Quendiar, and I was like, he became scary after that moment.
He did. Yeah, that was not a fun.
No, it wasn't. For me, when I was like, because I did most of these with audiobooks,
Same.
I could tell the scenes when it was good because I would be like doing other things, and then I would just stop and I'd be like, okay, now I need to listen to this properly because something crazy is happening now. There was so many of those. Someone asked, how many seasons do you think the show needs to be to finish the story? What's your prediction?
I would love 8. I think 8 is a good number. I don't see it going longer, so basically I want it to be as long as possible. Can you hear my cat? He's screaming. He's hungry. But yeah, so like I know Rafe wants 8, and so because of that, I think 8 would be lovely. And I think there are some books that can be. I think in my Discord I was kind of outlining what books I think could be combined and whatnot, and 8 would work. I think. What about you?
I don't think I haven't done like the maths on this and combining books and stuff, but like my gut feeling tells me 8 or 9 could work.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
I think definitely within like 7 to 10, there's things you could cut.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think 10 people talk about. What do you think about the slog?
I don't really believe in the slog.
No?
But that's not fair. Okay, so like I understand that some people were reading those books as they came out and having to wait like a year or 2 or whatever in between the books being released. I can see how that might have felt pretty sloggy because the plot didn't advance a ton in those books. But I loved them because I don't have to wait years in between reading them, and I like the politics. I like the Fael arc because we finally get to know her better, and I think she kind of thrives whenever she's captured by the Shido. And I don't know, she becomes more of a leader. I feel like before she was almost like she did some really cool stuff, but she always just was kind of like putting on like, okay, I need to be this leader because I'm Perrin's wife. And then when she was off by herself, she was like just nailing it on her own, you know? And so I don't know. I like the slog. I always say there is no slog, but I understand that for people who are reading it while it came out, there probably was. What about you?
I didn't feel it with most of them. Like I think it's supposed to start at like 6 or 7, right? Or 7 or 8 or something like that.
I think it's like 8, 9, 10, I think,
8, 9, 10.
Or something like that is like the technical slog. I'm not.
The one I felt it at 10. I felt book 10. I was like, oh, this is I'm struggling through this a bit because I think it was the Elaine taking back Caitlin. I didn't care about. That was like I was like, we're spending way too long on this.
That's fair.
Elaine isn't one of my favorite characters to begin with, and then her. I mean, there was literally like several chapters of her just walking around Camelin, the palace, just talking to people.
Yeah.
I think in book 10, I was like, oh, this is not interesting. We need to move on. Like, she needs to win this battle, like, now. So book 10 was the one I was like, I don't care. Book 1 felt draggy to me. The others didn't, I think.
Book 1? Is that what you said?
No, book 10. So the others.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. I thought at the very end you were like, and book 1. And I was like, what?
No. Book 1.
That makes no sense. Although I have heard that. Some people are like, oh, yeah, it really doesn't pick up until book 3. And I'm like, what? I feel like book 1.
I like book 1.
Yeah.
I like book 1.
So did I.
I think it's really good. Yeah.
Even though
I find myself like automatically telling people, wait till you get to book 2 or 3. That's when it gets good. But it's like, no, book 1 is really good.
No.
I think I just want people to get to those books. So I kind of tell them like, oh, it gets good then. But book 1 is also really good book. Except for the ending, but everything else is great.
The ending is chaos. The ending
I don't get it.
Such chaos.
I tried rereading the ending before reading the last 3 books. Because like, in case any of this is relevant for later, I was like, I need to read this again. And I still didn't get it.
Yeah, some really crazy stuff happened. And I feel like Jordan probably changed some of the mechanics of like channeling and stuff between book 1 and some of the other books, like the giant thread, like the black thread that connects Ishamael.
Yeah, what was that about? Oh,
I
he cuts something and then someone dies, I think. Is that what happens?
Yeah, I think that was supposed to symbolize Shamael's connection to the Dark One, which also maybe symbolizes like their ability to remain free from going crazy. Because I think maybe Asmodean mentioned something about that, like the connection to the Dark One is what prevents them all from
Yeah.
going mad. And so in book one, I think Jordan must have like wanted to visually represent that connection to the Dark One, and that was like the
Hmm.
giant thread of blackness. I don't know. That's my guess,
Yeah.
and I haven't read book one since let's say probably late 2020. So I probably need to read
Hmm.
again to be like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, I think I read summaries and I was like, I need someone to explain this to me. And there's apparently they go to a different like astral plane or different parallel unit somewhere else to fight, I think, which I didn't realize that's what happened.
Yeah, that sounds
Because
right.
there was something about steps or something, or they were fighting in a void or something like that. It was weird.
There were
Yeah.
steps. I remember the steps, and people the show didn't have the like sword fight or the steps or a lot of that stuff, and I was like, well, we're gonna
Hmm.
get another sword fight in book two, or
Yeah.
in season two if we do anything from Falma, because like that's what that basically symbolized to everyone who the dragon was. Um,
Hmm.
so you know,
Yeah.
two.
I like season one ending. I like what happened with Rand. Well, not the
I did too.
ending. I like what happened with Rand. I
Yeah,
like the Rand stuff.
I didn't
Yeah.
like Egwene healing Nynaeve at the end. She looked
No,
too
I
dead.
didn't.
That was bad.
Yeah, that was badly done. I because it was a weird experience of like I was really hyped for it for that last episode, and I was home for Christmas. Um, and I was like, I watched it early in the morning, because none of my family were watching it because I was like, friends here were watching it at
Yeah.
like uni in London, but back home, so I went home for like the holidays, and none of my family there were watching it. So I just watched it on my own early in the morning, and then my sister was like, "So the episode came out." I was like, "Yeah." Like, you don't sound excited, and I was like, well, it was okay. It wasn't amazing. She's like, well, I was expecting you to talk about it all day, but you're not.
Yeah.
So I think about half of it was good.
I thought it
Half of
was
that episode.
pretty epic. I wish, like the stuff Barney Harris leaving made the like Fane Perrin, like honestly though, if
Hmm.
Barney Harris was there, then Perrin's plot would have been even less probably, which
Hmm.
would have been,
Yeah,
I have a feeling we're gonna get more Perrin in season two. Like I wasn't
me too.
married to
Me too.
getting a ton of Perrin in the first book because we basically just got him learning that he can like talk to wolves and that was it.
Hmm.
So we got that, and
Yeah.
now we can move on to his other stuff.
Hmm.
So I was mainly focused on obviously Rand, and I liked how Rand's ended up, and so I was overall happy with episode 8. But
Yeah.
the fake out deaths were like they just went a little too far with those, I think. But
90 was a little too dead.
just a little too
She
dead.
was a
Just
little too injured. I was like, and then she just cried and brought her back. I was like, cried and channeled somehow and brought her back. And I was like, Egwene should not be able to do this. Not even in, like, if Nynaeve cried and accidentally healed someone, I would believe it a bit more.
yeah,
Like Egwene doing it, I was like, I don't believe Egwene could do this.
yeah, I
So
agree.
yeah. Teddy said that book one and two are running away from things, running away from a lot of things. Book two, I feel like is running towards something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a fetch quest. Like it's
Yeah.
literally like you're playing a RPG and you have to go find something that somebody stole, which is a
Yeah.
common fantasy thing. I don't
Mhm.
know.
I reckon that's what Perrin's going to be doing in season two. Actually, I think he's going to be the one. There's like in the books, Rand and Matt are there as well, but I think they're just going to skip that and be like, Perrin is going after on his own.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think Rand's gonna be. I wonder if Rand is gonna have more of a book 3 arc
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if you saw today. I tried to post a TikTok about this, but TikTok held it in review for hours. But Empire just released a like spoiler heavy podcast
Mm-hmm.
discussion with Rafe, and he said that some like the characters are more or less going to be like split between seasons or books 2 and 3 arcs. Like some of the characters are going to
Mm-hmm.
have more book 3 arcs, and some of the characters are going to have more book 2 arcs. Obviously, it feels like Matt's going to get book 3 because he's going to be in Tarvalin. He also said that Avienda has been cast, and we're going to get more Aiel than we
Oh,
expect in season
okay,
2,
okay.
which makes me think that maybe we're going to get more of book 3 Rand in season 2. But that's just my hope, and we'll see what happens in Falma because we're going to assume that Egwene gets captured because that's kind of like a fundamental part of her development, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Yeah.
The trauma that she continuously faces. um
Mm-hmm.
but anyways, we'll see how that all goes.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
reckon because like Rand is now heading west or something, right? Or east, I think. So I think he's going to be trying to head away from everything else, and then he's going to get diverted.
I think that's.
Um, I reckon he's going to meet like Celine or Lanfear.
I think so too.
Yeah, and
I
then
think
that's going to. Do you think to Falma or to Tyr? Do you think we're going to see Calendar?
yeah. I think so. I'm hope
Okay.
I will see. I need Rand to have a face off with one of the Forsaken and have the sword fight because I keep telling people that we're gonna get it. But maybe we can have the sword fight in Tyr instead of in
Yeah.
Falma, and then Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine can handle things over in Falma. Like maybe we have two different climax, two different separate places where
Oh, yeah, that could
shit
work.
goes down.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
So like Matt and Perrin could do the thing in Falma with fighting Stranchan, and Rand could have his thing.
Yeah, with like
yeah,
Thornton and
that could work.
everything.
Yeah, that could really work. Yeah, Dan, we're talking about Wheel of Time. Full spoilers. If you haven't watched the show or read the books, go do that, and then
Full spoilers. Full book spoilers.
Full spoilers. Full book spoilers.
Yeah.
Also, let's see. I missed a comment. Yeah. New this said. No, that wasn't it. Oh yeah, Mojo said the Forsaken incompetence is annoying. What do you think?
I think that just goes to show that they're human and like all. It's one of those things like they're not heroes, but never meet your heroes. That's probably like they were the most lucky / effective humans that supported the Dark Ones and the Dark One and the Edge of Legends, and so somehow they got like tapped to be more or less immortal. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I think it's believable that they're kind of not great at everything because there is a limit on the one power's ability, like the things that you can do with the one power. Like they can travel, which is amazing and handy, and there's balefire, but the people in the Third Age eventually discovered that anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like they're awesome, and there's certain things that they do that are like super formidable, like Leandrin's perma block or whatever. Like what was it? Masana gave her, or no, it was a Mogedian, or gave her a permanent shield for a while. They did some really cool stuff, and yeah, their plans other than Demandred didn't really pan out that well. But Demandred's did. He was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Demandred, he sort of did something in a big way. I think the show needs to cut down from 13 because 13 is too many. I don't think the show needs 13 Forsaken. Because I don't remember what a lot of them did. I don't remember what most of them were called. Magidian was a spider. She did some spying in the background that I don't think it came to anything. Lanfear needs to be there. Demandred, Shamael, Asmodean probably. Someone needs to teach Rand.
Oh, I would love Asmodean. I like him a lot.
Yeah. I kind of forgot that he died. So when I started reading because I finished book 5 and then I took a break with other stuff, and then I came back to book 6 and I was like, wait, where's Asmodean? And I was scared to Google it because I was like, is it going to spoil me on something? And then later down the line, I was like, oh wait, he died in book 5. I forgot about this. Because it's like in a cupboard or something, isn't it? He gets killed just like randomly.
One of the Forsaken comes and kills him. It's a mystery in the books, and then I think later on it was either in the companion or maybe Sanderson said that I think it was Masana or one of he casually mentions that only one of the Forsaken, and it was a woman, I don't remember who, knew where he was other than Lanfear or whatever. Or no, she wasn't there. Anyways, yeah, he's like one of them knows where I am, and so Sanderson was like, yeah, you should have known all along that that's who it was. It's like, oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't even realize he was killed, so I completely missed that. There's a bunch of comments that I've missed. In the books, every male Forsaken is a blade master who needs to prove to Rand. Yeah, I think the first few books are like a repetition of Rand fighting a Forsaken and beating him in a duel. Isn't there? He beats like 2 in book 1, I think 1 in book 2, 1 in book 3, I think 1 in book 4 as well. He beats Asmodean, but that's with Lanfear's help. And then he beats 1 in book 5. Like he beats 1 at the end of every book. I was like, I was worried it was going to be a bit of a formula, but obviously it changed after that because book 6 had a very different ending.
Well, yeah, and they all kind of happen in incredibly different ways. And okay, so Left Not Liberal asked, doesn't you didn't say who basically the question is who gets reincarnated as a woman who can channel Sidene? And I'm trying to remember, was that Delal or
wait, was that? I know that there was two people. What are their names?
It was Osangar and Arangar.
Yeah,
Arangar
I
was
can never remember who was who.
but
Yeah.
like I can't remember who was the one that was reincarnated to become Arangar. And it, you know what? That's just another sign that I don't think we need
Yeah.
13 Forsaken. I think
We don't need it. We don't need it.
Was it 9? They had 9 statues in the show, 8 or 9
Yeah.
statues. That would be a fine number.
That would be fine. Was Halima one of the two that was reborn?
Yeah, that was Halima.
Yeah.
Halima was Arangar.
All right. Okay.
I think.
Well, it's just a sign. There's too many, and they don't really do anything memorable enough. So, do you think there will be more Age of Legends flashbacks?
I hope so. I want the prequel, but it'll be really
Oh,
expensive though. Do you think we will get it?
I want it. You kind of need to do it, don't you? Because it's like iconic Wheel of Time. They didn't do it in season 1. I was disappointed. I thought the last episode would have that, but they opted for a sit-down conversation instead.
Yeah. The animated shorts had it. I don't know if you watched those.
Oh yeah,
but it's just not enough. I need the real deal. Like, and I'm hoping that maybe
live action.
Same. I think maybe they were waiting for like a bigger budget, you know, or they'll save that for before the last battle so we can kind of see the parallel, or maybe they'll save it before Veins of Gold, like whenever Rand has his epiphany, so we can see like it could be the cold open for the episode where Rand ends up at the top of Dragon Mount. That could work. I don't want to wait that long.
That would be the long game.
That would be the long game.
I reckon they would need to do it before like Lewis Terran starts talking in his head, because when he's ranting about like Ileana and all that stuff, like the audience needs a reference of what he's talking about. So I think maybe around like book 5 or something, when he gets other comments. In the late Age of Legends there were other chosen, but they didn't all live. I didn't know that. I thought there were just these 13.
Same.
Okay, that's cool.
Know that either.
Yeah,
I need to
but
read my companion. I haven't read the whole thing front to back yet.
I haven't. I need to go back to Wheel of Time at some point, but like I need to take a break with other things. Also, but it's a good point that they also made that like the Dark One doesn't need anyone who's going to oppose him and like possibly like be too strong or like too much like clever.
Yeah.
So he needs like people who are going to fight among themselves so they don't just unite against him.
I think
so that makes sense. It's like that's basically why the Forsaken didn't get along.
That makes sense.
I feel like we gotta have the prequel chapter. That's true. In the show, they're not making the Sidene Sidar thing as pronounced. I think they did it in the shorts, didn't they? The difference between Sidene and Sidar.
Yeah, I mean they talk about how they can't see or feel. I don't know. I think in the show they mention a couple times that basically they're not the same, but it's not. There's not a ton of exposition, and then in the animated shorts they talk about Sidene and Sidar specifically, but of course a lot of people are like, not everyone's going to watch the animated shorts, so we need to hear more about it in the actual show. And I'm thinking we will when the girls go to the tower, because Nynaeve and Egwene that's probably where they're going to meet Elaine, and we're going to learn more about the power. That's what I'm expecting, so we'll see.
And also, because there's no male channelers really in season 1, I think once Rand starts channeling properly, we'll learn more about the difference as well. For the longest time, I couldn't remember which one was which. I learned like a couple, like before I started book 12, which I really remembered which one was which, because like I was Googling something on Sidene, and I was like cleansing Sidene, and I was like, oh yeah, Sidene is the male half.
This makes sense, yeah. I guess it's been so long since I've started that I don't really remember the things that I couldn't remember. You know what I mean? I actually did your quiz too today, and that was one of the other ones that was waiting under review for hours, but I did miss one. I could not for the life of me. After you said Damani or whatever, the Soul Dom, I literally could not think of the word Adam or whatever, however you pronounce it. Idam. I was so mad because I was like, I know this word. Why can I'm so bad at trivia? I couldn't even think of it. But anyways,
No, I did a bunch of trivia quizzes, like all the ones, and I was like, I don't remember any of these things. So last night I was like, what do I actually remember? I was like, Rand meets Min in Beron, Idam, Aes Sedai Argus. These are the things I can remember after 15 books. Like
Yeah.
the only reason I think I remember Lord Agelmar was because he's such a big part of the ending.
Yeah.
He's one of the great captains. By the way, that moment when the great captains came, that was like the Avengers Endgame moment. It was
Yeah.
like this is the Avengers Unite moment when all the great captains came together and was like planning the battle. I was like, I've been looking forward to this for so long.
And then, oh my God, the twist though, how they were all under
Yeah.
like compulsion.
Mm-hmm.
And for a second,
Yeah.
we thought that Lord Bashir was a dark friend. I don't know. I
Yes.
thought that was awesome. I was like,
Oh my
is
God.
he
Yeah.
really? And then he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But it was still pretty
Yeah.
exciting.
That would have been a big twist if Lord Bashir, like he was with Rand the whole time. I was like, but I thought they got Agulmar and they got Bashir, but then I didn't realize they got like Bryn,
You didn't
and then
get
like
who?
Matt
Sorry.
comes in. I didn't realize that they got Captain Bryn as well, Gareth Bryn.
Oh yeah,
Until
yeah.
like Matt
Yeah.
comes in and he's like, oh, he's losing you the battle. I was like, oh right, they got everyone.
Everybody.
Like that
Yeah.
was amazing. That was really well done. And then obviously Matt takes charge and amazing.
So good.
I was surprised. I was like, why isn't Matt doing this? And I think basically in book 14 it was a lot of like showing how other people do things and then showing us why our heroes are awesome. It's like Galad and Garwin fights him and loses, which is why Lan is awesome. These other people fight and they don't win, which is why Matt is awesome because he wins the battle.
Yep.
But that was amazing. Yeah.
I feel like the Son of Battles finally paid off. Where it was like before it was like fun. He had the Band of the Red Hand or whatever, and they were all like they were in these skirmishes and they won basically everything they ever fought in. And half the time Matt wasn't even with them. But then finally, like you should have seen it coming that the last battle would be Matt's, what is the like swan song? His what he is around for, why the pattern needed him there, and he just absolutely nailed it. It was amazing.
I was when I was reading it, I was imagining it. And I was like, if this ever happens in the show, I want Matt to have like a Tony Stark moment of just like visualizing a battle around him, and like
that would
just
be
like
awesome.
it would just come and like everyone else is just looking at a map and like Matt is just looking like a high tech like movement of troops around and stuff. It's like because that's how he sees it in his head. That would be
cool.
That would be an awesome thing. Yeah, Lord Swan song. Swan, that death hit me.
Yeah,
Swan's
me too.
death.
Yeah, me too.
Because I feel like they didn't give her time. Like she just died and they just left her.
Just absolutely. It was brutal.
Heartbreaking.
At least she had a really good moment with Matt though before she ended, and I feel like a lot of people, like honestly, every now and then I'll like forget that even happened. But she like talked to Matt like, you remind me of my uncle. You remember like the one that like died in the house fire or something? Literally like he never did anything anybody ever wanted him to do, but then when the time came, like he stepped up and sacrificed himself. Like that is so perfectly Matt, and the fact that it was like the Amerlin seat talking to him about this, I don't know. It was really a lovely scene. But then they're just literally, it's like, oh yeah, I told you guys you need to stay together, and then just like almost like that, Swan's gone.
Dies.
Horrible.
And the annoying thing is that we thought that it was earlier. I was like, oh, they've passed the moment. They've stayed together. They protected each other. That's gone now. And it's like, oh no, that's still to come. And then they both died.
Permanent.
Which is just heartbreaking. Because I loved those two. Although I think the show should do Moraine and Swan.
Yeah.
Because I don't buy Moraine and Tom Merlin. I don't buy it. Yeah.
Me either. It could be better.
It
for sure.
really came out of nowhere. I think it came out of nowhere.
It did. 100% agree.
Yeah.
The people who say they saw it coming are the people who like will point out a little line where Tom said she's a very handsome woman. And I feel like anybody would say that about anybody. Like, come on.
Yeah, Robert Jordan describes almost every woman as she's handsome or she's like stunningly gorgeous. So yeah.
Right.
But like when like he started talking about saving Moraine, I was like, wait, is there something going on here? And then in book 12, I was like, oh, okay, so they love Tom loves Moraine. I was like, wait, Moraine doesn't care about him. And then as soon as she comes out, they get married. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, Moraine did say that she knew who she was going to marry in like book 4 or something. Like it was way early. I guess not that early because she ends up leaving for several books. But still, the Swan death was pretty brutal. Obviously, I feel like the Egwene death was, for me, the biggest impact, but there were a couple in there. And I've heard people say that more people should have died because it was the last battle. How do you feel about that?
I mean, you could go like the Game of Thrones route with this and like to be like make it realistic, but also no, because I want my favorite characters to live. I'm the
Yes.
kind of guy who's like, it's fantasy. Like, I don't care, let them live. I mean, yeah, sure, Egwene's death was like that was a natural ending for her arc of like sacrificing everything.
Yeah.
So then she dying was like, cool, that makes sense. I don't want like Matt to randomly die in the middle of the battle or like
Oh,
Perrin. Perrin, I feel like he was underused.
oh yeah. I agree with that.
He didn't do. Where was he in the last battle? He sat out
Well,
the entire last
okay.
battle.
He killed Lanfear.
At the end, right at the end.
We
But that whole
saved Rand. Like she
that's
was
true.
gonna kill Rand. Like it's kind of like he didn't do much, much like Gawain didn't do much. But whenever he did do something, it ended
Yeah,
up being very important.
that's true. I just so there's that image of like Rand, Matt, and Perrin like in front of the army and the holding their banners and stuff. I thought we were gonna get that scene.
Oh no,
I
no,
was
no.
like, there's gonna be an awesome scene where the three Taviran come together and their individual armies come together and it's gonna be an awesome battle. No, that scene wasn't in it. I just wanted that. I just wanted that scene. I just wanted three of them to meet together again.
That would have been. I did like. There was a scene in a book where they were all in like a tavern together for like a hot second, and those are like
Mm-hmm.
the. It was right because Matt caught a badger or something, and they were in the woods. That was when he met up with Perrin. But I thought they were
Mm-hmm. I
all
think yeah,
together,
parents. Yeah,
or maybe it was
I
just
don't think
Matt
they
and
were all
Perrin. Now that I
together.
think of it,
There was a scene with Rand and Matt, and there was scenes with Matt and Perrin, and then there
right?
were like Rand and Perrin, but they weren't all three of them together. I
We were
don't think
never all three together. Dang, I would love to. That would be such fan
it
service
would
if
have
they did
been.
that
Yeah,
show.
I really wanted it,
That would have
but
been.
I love the scene of like Rand and Matt comparing who did the most.
Oh my god, that was one of my
Yes,
like so freaking funny. I
it
loved
was
that scene.
brilliant. Yeah, it was
It's
the
like, well,
fact
I
that like
say Morang, so.
Rand came to talk to the Shonchan Empress and was like trying to end a conflict, and at the same time he's like, yeah, and I cleansed Cyrene. They're like trying to one up each other, and it was amazing.
It was like
Yeah,
that brought me back because it's like, oh yeah, these kids were villagers like together
hmm
in this tiny
yeah.
tiny town. I actually had a comment. Somebody Papa Daffodil says Perrin was so OP at the end he could have handled the whole battle himself. If the battle had been held in the world of dreams, sure,
Oh, it
but
would have been over,
it would have been
over.
over.
Yeah, it would have been. Oh, they had no chance. Perrin would just imagine that they lose, and they lose.
And then they would be
That's it.
gone. But
Yeah.
like, and then the forging of the hammer was a cool scene. But
Yeah.
again, it's kind of like, why? Like, how much did he use the hammer, really, if we're really thinking
hmm
about it? Not that
I
much.
wanted him to really go with it. I wanted him to just fight with it.
Yeah. No, I feel.
And because obviously in the world of dreams he was using his other powers, and it wasn't so much the hammer. I mean, he literally created Mjolnir,
He did.
doesn't
Yeah.
it?
He
Yeah, because
100%
that's
did.
I heard the name. I was like, oh, this is Mjolnir. I actually wanted to make
Mahalanir.
a
Yeah.
Mahalanir or something like that. Yeah, he literally crafted Mjolnir and then doesn't use it a lot, which is a bit
Right.
disappointing.
I would
I mean,
say,
he does have his cool moments
I
when
was going
he
to
stops
say,
Balefire.
awesome. It's
Yeah,
just a weave. One of the best, one of the
hmm
most memorable lines, I'd say,
yeah,
in the books.
it's
People quote
just a
that all
weave.
the
Yeah,
time.
hmm
Um, Another one that I don't hear people talking about a ton, but that I absolutely love is probably one of the most emotionally impactful scenes is in A Memory of Light with Perrin, and it's when he like doesn't know if Fael is alive or dead, and he's
hmm
he like I can't remember, he like falls asleep or something, and then he senses her or hears her or maybe somebody, I can't remember exactly how it happens, but he's literally
yeah,
frantically searching through these like dead bodies, and he runs like almost straight to her like an arrow, like unburies her from underneath like trollocs and horses, and I don't even remember how else, and he's like sobbing and I'm
hmm
over here sobbing while I'm reading it, like she's
hmm
alive, it's fine. Like so I
yeah.
think as far as like romantic relationships go, other than Andral and Pavara, who are goals, like
Oh my
Perrin and
God, I
Fael
love
had
those
the
two.
most,
Yes.
yeah, had the most emotional impact for me because they were obviously very intense with each other a lot, but they clearly
hmm
really loved each other. So
Yeah.
that was a great reunion there.
Um. So the Fael death, I kind of disagree because I never thought that she was dead. I didn't buy it. After Lan came back and after like all these people weren't dead, I was like, I don't think. I mean, he's not going to kill Fael and leave. pairing with no one. I don't believe
he
it.
could, yeah.
I was
It
like,
wouldn't be Wheel of Time.
yeah.
It would not be Wheel of Time.
So I didn't think that Fael was dead. But I was like, I can feel what Perrin is feeling, but he's gonna find her somehow. Yeah,
I guess that's true.
I had that feeling. And then yeah, Arengar was balefire with Graendal at Natron Sparrow. Yeah, so when we read the prologue in book 13 and we find out that like Graendal didn't die. Was Graendal the one that was putting the compulsion on the others?
I think so. I think at the last battle on the other generals. Yeah, I think so.
Because everyone else is dead by one day.
It might have been her and Mogedion together. I can't remember. I thought it might have been like a concerted effort, but now I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was. Who's your favorite Forsaken?
I feel like as far as like Forsaken, I would get drinks with Asmodean because he seemed. I liked how he kind of was just like, well, I guess I'm gonna make the best of this situation, and he just kind of like hung out and taught Rand what he needed to teach him. So that was cool. Otherwise, I feel like Taim, who eventually became one of the Chosen, I think he had a really cool arc where constantly I was like, I don't trust this guy, and Luce Theron was like, kill him, and he always was like fine until he wasn't. And so I feel like that was a really cool. You got to know him almost more than any of the other ones. And I don't love the Landfear thing because it just to me is like she's just this like jilted woman, and I don't love that trope. But that's just me. What about you?
I think if I was the one or anyone I would get a drink with is Asmodean. Because Asmodean is like he's done bad things in the end and he's a terrible person. But also he's the one who reminds me of have you seen Good Omens? Yeah, with the David Tennant. It's like he didn't fall, he sort of sauntered down into hell. And it's like Asmodean is that kind of like he just sort of ended up with the bad guys and was like, sure, I'll go with these lot and I'll be immortal and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't think he's truly evil, and he just wants to play his instruments and be left alone.
He wanted to be the best of all time. I'm getting comments also that I'm sus because I called them the Chosen, but that's what they were. He got chosen to be. That's why I said it, because he was chosen. Yeah,
but they are the Forsaken. They are the Forsaken.
I know. I'm
it is stuff that you're saying chosen.
I'm sorry.
There's only certain group who call them chosen. Do you also call him the Great Lord, or is it the Dark One?
I don't. It's the Dark One.
It's the Dark One. Oh, okay, sure.
I'm embarrassed.
Androl was great.
Love him.
Androl was a character who, when he showed up, I was like, am I supposed to know him from something? And I was like, oh, no, he's a new character. Well, he's not. I think he probably was mentioned at some point before, but
he was. Yeah. I think he was like in the lineup when they were like looking for men, and he was one of the ones that had volunteered, but that was it until way later.
And then him and Pavara, that was like a relationship I didn't think I was going to care about, but ended up being one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's because they had such good chemistry, and like finding out about the double bond and what it does to you and how they could kind of like read each other's minds, and the way that Sanderson wrote them, I think really made everyone fall in love with them, because we were so starved for solid romance.
Let's be honest, wasn't one of Robert Jordan's strong suits.
No, and we all have flaws, so no shame. I mean, my favorite book series of all time, and it doesn't have the best romance, and I'll admit it.
It doesn't. But I mean, and then Androl got that awesome moment with the lava when he opened the portal. I was like, this is amazing.
Literally amazing. So good.
I do want to ask you about Logain.
Okay.
Because everyone says he's amazing and he's got such an arc, and he's like, at the end, did I miss something with Logain? Because
no.
What happened? Like, what is it about Logain that everyone loves so much?
To me, he was never what people say he was. To me, Androl was the incredible like last battle Ashaman. I mean, Logain made the choice not to go for that like incredible scepter thing, which to me was like, well, duh, it saved the lives of a bunch of people, or go become like the most powerful person in history. Like, if you're a good person, it's not really going to be much of a debate. And for him, it was. And so, I don't know. I feel like Logain in the show is going to be better than Logain in the books, because I feel like some people sort of ascribe or like they conflate some of Androl's arc with Logain's arc and make him cooler than he is. That's just me though. I don't want any hate. Do you agree with that? I don't know.
Yeah, because I was feeling like, because people kept saying like, oh, Logain is so amazing and I love what he's done with the show and stuff, and I was like, this is great. I was like, okay, so something is coming with Logain, so he's going to do something really cool and it's going to be amazing in the last few books, and then he doesn't. He's sort of captured, and Androl is the one who leads the whole defense of Logain, and then like saves him and does all the cool things.
Yeah.
So I just felt like, oh, I missed something, but then okay, so it's good to hear that I'm not the only one.
No, I guess like Logain is doing cool stuff off camera by like going out and recruiting and like trying to make up for the bad stuff that Taim is doing, but at the same time he's off camera or off page a lot, so we don't get much of his coolness. So I'm excited the show is going to show us him, because there's a ton of potential there for him to be cooler than he was in the books.
Yeah, if anything, I feel like what Logain does, the cool things he does, is after the story ends. Like he's going to be like the leader of the Black Tower, right? And it's going to be opposition with the White Tower, and so I feel like his interesting story comes after the book's end.
Yeah, I've actually got a comment that is a really good point. I don't want a name. 42 says he resists multiple turnings and goes toe-to-toe with Demon Dread. So that's a good point. Whenever they're trying to turn him, like a lot of people, you know, it takes once or twice or three times to turn him with a full circle, and he held up. But again, that like you were getting most of Androl's perspective while that was happening. I don't know. And so it was he was strong. He was super strong. He was really cool. Whenever Nynaeve healed him, it was awesome. But yeah, I would like to see more in the show, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, because we just get told about like the other Ashaman are like, oh, he's amazing, and Androl is like, Logain is the leader and stuff. But like, I feel like Androl could have led the Black Tower. Androl was the leader. People respected him, and he wasn't strong, but that didn't matter.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah. So the Logain thing, I'm hoping the show does that well. During the Dragon's Peace stuff, when Matt shows up with Moraine, all three boys were there. Were they? Was Matt? Because I don't think Matt was there, was he? In the Dragon's Peace, when they were in the tent, when they're like,
I feel like Matt hung outside. Like Matt didn't go in, did he? I feel like Moraine went in.
No, I think
didn't go in.
I think Matt was with Tuon at the time, wasn't he? Or Matt was in Ebudar, wasn't he? Because I feel like he went to find Tuon. Like he dropped off Moraine and then went to find Tuon.
I think that's right. I think that's that is right.
And then Rand goes to fetch him, and then like then he comes with the Shanchan army. He doesn't. He's not there at the meeting. I think Perrin is there, but I don't think there's a scene when all three of them are together, which is really disappointing.
That would have been lovely. I always like in the Avengers, whenever all the Avengers are together, like drinking or whatever, and just like hanging out. I love those scenes. So
I wanted it. I wanted that in Wheel of Time, but I mean, So we got the Endgame scene, didn't we? With Rand, like Land charging on with the cavalry charge, and like the portals open and everyone comes. Which Wheel of Time did it first.
Wheel of Time did
before
it
Endgame.
First.
Wheel of Time did it first. Yeah. Before now, if the show does it, it's like, oh, you're doing the Endgame thing, but like, no, Wheel of Time did it first.
I can't wait till people say, "Oh, you're doing the Endgame thing," because it's like one of my favorite things to be like, actually.
Sanderson did it in 2012 or 14 or whenever it was.
Right.
Years, like a decade before Endgame.
Well.
Sanderson did it. Yeah. When like Land's like 6,000 cavalry charge becomes like 100,000.
Incredible.
I don't know if they could ever do it on screen.
It would be a lot like in any of the like Lord of the Rings or whatever. They basically take like a tiny snippet of actual people and then just like duplicate it in CGI by a million. That's the only way. There's no way they can get that many people, and hopefully their budget is high enough to make it look realistic. That's all we can hope for. Yeah,
there's a scene. I mean, in Lord of the Rings, in that like Rohirrim charge, I think it's supposed to be like 6,000 people. Altogether, like 6,000 cavalrymen in that charge. Whereas this Wheel of Time charge at Tarwin's Gap is like supposed to be 100,000 horses. It's like that's never going to be. They're never going to show that on screen properly. 100,000 people charging at once. It would just be insane. But I wouldn't mind if they cut some of the numbers down.
Unfathomable. But I guess whenever you're thinking like this is everyone who can come together to try and save humankind, then you're like, well, maybe it would be that many people.
Yeah. Everyone with a horse.
Yeah.
Every cavalry, but yeah, it makes sense. But I don't think they could do it on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite book out of all of them, out of the 15?
I think it's The Gathering Storm for me. It's just got the biggest, not the biggest, but some of the best Egwene moments and Rand moments in it, both.
Yeah.
Because that's got Veins of Gold, the Rand Epiphany. It's got Egwene and the Shan Chan, and a lot of the Lyda's craziness. It's so compelling, and I love A Memory of Light. I really like The Shadow Rising. But it's probably Gathering Storm. What about you?
I would agree. I think same. Gathering Storm. Gathering Storm is the one I read the quickest. Like, I think I read the whole book in 2, maybe 3 days.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I had handed in an assignment like on the Friday or something, and I was beat. It was like two or three all-nighters, like thousands of words I wrote, and I was so tired. I was like, I'm gonna read Gathering Storm for a bit. I'm gonna start Wheel of Time ending, and I'm gonna read this over the next few weeks. And like 10 days, 3 books. It was finished.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had a week off. And I was like, I was reading late into the night, which I haven't done in a long time. I was awake at like 5 o'clock in the morning, reading Gathering Storm. My ring light might turn off any second because it's connected to the computer, which is restarting. Okay, so they have like, we've seen those videos of them animating like historical battles and showing like troop movements and stuff, like visualized battles. I want someone to do that for the last chapter, the last battle, because there was so much happening there. I had no clue. Awesome. Like half the time, I was like, I don't know what's going on with a lot of this, because people are fighting in different places. I kept flicking back to the map. I was like, where are they right now?
Literally, remember like the Talmanes was like in a cave somewhere, and then all of a sudden they like open gateways and they
that was such a clever moment. That was amazing.
It was so good.
Someone asked, did you discuss Oliver being rescued by Jane and someone finally coming back? That was such a good moment.
It was so
good.
Those
2 chapters are my favorite. Like, the last battle chapter is great, but the 2 chapters after that are the best ones. Like, I think.
There's so much resolution and so much payoff, all in like just a little space. I agree. Those are incredible.
And when he blows the horn, I did not see that coming. I know. It was out of nowhere.
I think I did right before it happened, because I was like, okay, well, there's nothing else that can happen. Like he's got to survive. They're not going to get the horn. And then, of course, we find out later the Shadow would never fight, or the heroes would never fight for the Shadow anyways. So,
but I was like, how are they going to get the horn to Matt? Something has to happen here, but yeah. And then when I think it was Art Hawking or something said, how did Matt lost the connection to the horn when he died, and I was like, oh, it's when he was hanged. And it took me a while to remember that he also died in book 5.
Yeah, the Balefire.
Literally brought back to life. Yeah. So I completely forgot about that bit. But that's what cut his connection to the horn. So then realizing that all this time they spent thinking it was Matt was the one with the horn. It's like, no, anyone could have had it.
Whole time. It didn't have
whole time.
Can you imagine that, like, how cinematic that scene, the Balefire bringing back, like, Matt, and I think Avienda had also died, like, that, like, it's gonna be, like, the end, spoilers for the end of Twilight, but, like, in Breaking Dawn, in the movie, they kill off a bunch of characters, and everyone's like, what's happening? And then you find out that it was actually just a vision. I feel like that's gonna be the vibe, because people are so used to, like, the Game of Thrones, right, where people can just die, and if they see Matt and Avienda die, they're gonna be like, "It happened!" The Balefire is just gonna bring him back. It'll be so funny.
The Wheel of Time doesn't do that. But I think people got too used to it from Game of Thrones of like, oh, every people need to die. Like main characters need to die. It's like, no, don't kill Matt. I like Matt.
Yeah,
I want Matt to be there for whole 15 books.
Yeah, I would like to keep them. Thank you.
Yeah,
but
also. I felt so. I think I told you this before, but I felt so smart when I thought that Oliver was Oh, what's his name? I forgot his name now.
Guidal Kane.
Guidal Kane. I thought Oliver was Guidal Kane. And I was like, this is my theory. This is so clever. I was like, I bet no one else has thought of this. And then I told you, and you were like, "Oh yeah, no, it's come up," and they said it's not true.
That's not it. I'm 99% sure that that's been refuted by, I think, Sanderson. It is not in fact Oliver. It is somebody else. I don't know.
Wait, are they in the books then? Guidal Kane is in the books.
I don't know.
Or is it just like a random person that we haven't met?
Because I thought, like, what if it's like Elaine's baby? But did she have a boy? Yeah, she had a boy and a girl, right?
Yeah, she had twins, yeah.
So that was like, okay, if it's not Oliver, maybe it's Elaine's baby, so we still got to see him. But I feel like he was also spun out of the pattern, like, earlier. Like, it had happened already, you know, because, like, he had been spun out, or Brigitta thought he had been spun out before she got ripped from the world of dreams, so I don't know.
Yeah, but because Brigitta said about, like, oh, time doesn't flow the same, or thought, yeah, right. It's over, because like Robert Jordan made such a point of like saying he was ugly, his nose is weird, his ears are weird, he's never going to be a good-looking guy. I was like, yeah. And then when he blew the horn, I was like, wait, oh, he could be Guidal Kane, and then apparently not.
Apparently, well, yeah. I mean, I'm so sorry if I'm wrong, but I'm certain that I heard that it's been nixed, because I thought the same, and I was like, oh, it's so cute, because even like him and Brigitta, like they bond, you know.
Exactly. And then Brigitta said that, like, oh, when she's being reborn, she was like, oh, he's been reborn a few years earlier. I was like, oh, I mean, Oliver is young.
It works.
Yeah, it works. You know, it's my headcanon. You know what? Yeah. Sanderson can say whatever he wants. In my headcanon, Oliver is Guidal Kane.
Okay, speaking of, though, the end, since we're full spoilers, Brigitta's death. Like, holy. Remember, like, that was one that I didn't see coming. And then they beheaded her, right? And they were like carrying her head around. That was brutal.
That was brutal, yeah. That ending, oh my god. But then it also goes back to my point of people just keep coming back. Brigitta came back. Well, not technically Brigitta, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But I mean are these like, in my head, all these heroes of the Horn are like, you know, like the ghosts in Lord of the Rings. That's what they look like? Are they supposed to be solid, like, people, or are they more like ghosts?
I guess
that's what I imagine in my head.
I always picture them as the ghost army, but I might have been influenced by Lord of the Rings, too. Because, I mean, they're fighting, they're, like, doing damage, so they have to be in some way physical.
That's what I imagined in my head, the ghost army. So I was like, so she died, and then she came back as the Brigitta Silverbow, and then she gets reborn.
Yeah.
Which is a great moment. I missed any questions. So his greatness said that I thought it was I thought the same thing, but then he thought it was one of the Ashaman's sons, the Guidal Kane. Which one would you think?
Because there was one Ashaman who like asked Perrin if he could go home because he hadn't seen his son in a while. Remember that? I wonder if it was him. That would be so cute.
One. That would be cute, yeah. That'd be a good one. Collivander said that my friends are still arguing that the consensus is the boys were last together in Tyr. Has it been that long since Rand, Mat, and Perrin were together?
All together?
All together, yeah. Because after Tyr, they go to the Idle Waste. Rand and Mat go, and then by the time Perrin comes back, Mat is gone with his Band of the Red Hand.
Yep.
And then Mat spends all that time in Ebudar with Tuon, and then he meets up with Perrin and then goes to the tower.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't see Rand through any of this. So yeah, it was Tyr. Beginning of book 4 is the last time they were together.
That is so long. I want more. Oh, no. I want more Treveran time in the show.
Yeah. Now I'm sad. The 3 best friends couldn't hang out
for years. Well, 2 years, however long it was supposed to be. Not terribly long, I guess.
No. And then, obviously, at the end, full spoilers, Rand becomes Moradin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought Rand was going to die. I don't think he was going to come back.
Rand thought he was going to die, too.
Yeah.
So I think that's the funny thing about it is, like, we all expected it, right? Because he kept saying, well, I think people kept hammering it into us, like his blood will be on the rocks of Shale Ghul. But in my mind, I was like, it never says he's gonna die. So I was like, he's not gonna die. That was what I was expecting. And then when he like died, his body, they like burned his body. I was like, what? But then it was fine. It was all fine.
No. The whole blood on the steps of Shale Ghul, I never believed.
Yeah.
Because I've read Percy Jackson. And in Percy Jackson, Heroes of Olympus, I think it's called, whatever the, like in the second series of Percy Jackson, the last book, this. So the whole prophecy is that one male and one female demigods like blood will be spilled on Olympus, right? And they were like, oh, one of them's gonna die, one of them's gonna die, and it's like, no. Like one of the female demigods, like Annabeth's blood gets spilled, like they do a cut on a hand or something, and then Percy has a nosebleed, and then his blood falls on it. So I was like, so neither of them dies. So I was like, I've read Percy Jackson. So when they say blood on the steps of Shale Ghul, Rand could literally just bleed a bit. And that would
not bothered.
Yeah, I was not bothered about that line. I was like, I know what, I've read fantasy. That's not what that line means at all.
Oh my gosh, I have a here 91. Wheel of Time takes place in less time than we've been in a pandemic. Wow. That's probably right.
Well, that's now I'm just sad.
Yeah, like thanks for that. You're trying to make us sad. You succeeded. Jeez.
So Brandon Collivander said Brandon says Guidal Kane is in his list of questions that he hopes Harriet will let him answer later. Oh, so he knows. Brandon knows who Guidal Kane is. Yeah. Because I was watching some interviews, and he said there's a bunch of things he can reveal once the 10-year anniversary is here of Memory of Life. Really? So there's a bunch of like from like the notes and stuff that he can reveal once the NDA runs out. So there's gonna be a lot of like revealed. I don't know, when was with the Memory of Life come out?
Was it like 2015?
Was it?
Part of me thinks it was 2015, but now I'm like, is that wrong? I thought it was 2014 or something. 2014. I thought it was 2012 actually at first, but then that can't be right. Because then that would be the 10-year anniversary, or close. Yeah. 2013. So we're coming up. Sretaunam, assuming that is accurate. So we are coming up on it soon.
Ooh, okay, so we're gonna find out a lot of things.
That's exciting.
Guidal Kane. I do want to know who Guidal Kane is. I'm weirdly interested. I'm like excited to find that out. Because I want Vegeta to be happy.
I do too. She's such a good. I love her. She's gonna be my cosplay. I'm like building a cosplay for her now to go to Jordan.
That would be great.
I love her.
You would, that would really. Vegeta would really work for you as a cosplay.
That's kind of what I'm going for. But also, I just like. I feel like personality-wise, like I'm not an Egwene. I feel like personality-wise, I'm more of a Brigitte, anyways. So I think it'll work. Like I'll be full cosplay. Like what do they call that? The whenever actors do like the thing where they become their characters. Mm-hmm. Help me out.
Method. Full method.
Thank you.
Yes.
And that's why I'm bad at trivia. I would method act Brigitte if I did that cosplay. Yeah.
Now you have the whole bow and arrow and all that stuff.
I'm going to. That's one of the things on my list. Actually, I have an interesting comment, and since this has to deal with we're talking about A Memory of Light. I don't want to name as was anyone else underwhelmed by Patton Fane just dying. I feel like Robert Jordan was really bad at satisfying. I don't know, like closure. I didn't hate Fane's ending. I liked how it had something to do with Matt because it's like it all came full circle. How did you feel about that?
To me, it just felt like something that had to happen, and so I was like, because Patton Fane's been building up for so long. I don't know if Robert Jordan had a different idea for it, because I think Sanderson said that there wasn't much written for it or something like that. Yeah. So he quite sort of made up what happened, and then so it's like, oh, then Matt is just brought there and then just to fight Patton Fane because he had to be there at the end. Yeah. I don't know. It just felt like something that had to happen, and so did, and I just didn't feel much like I didn't care too much about it.
Yeah, happening. I wasn't too attached to Fane and how he ended. Honestly, he was never like the big bad. Almost every time he had a POV chapter for me, I was like, oh, here we go. You know, like great Fane. Yeah. So when he died, I was like, good.
I wasn't attached to him, so I was like, yeah, this is something that has to happen, and so it did. That's it.
Right.
Whereas Perrin's moment there was like killing Lanfear, which that was an awesome moment. I didn't. So there's something weird about that moment actually. So just before or just after that. So you know Alana, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alana dies, right? For some reason, I think it was after like 6 hours of reading straight or something, and my brain was, I don't know what it was doing. What I read was that Rand threw a dagger at Alana, and then she died. And then I finished the book, and I was like, why did Rand kill Alana? And I remember being so confused by it. And I was like, why would he? Was she a dark friend? Did he know? Was that? And then I Googled it, and I was like, oh no, Moradin killed Alana.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what? I don't remember
This
that
is
at
the thing,
all.
yeah. Yeah. I was confused. I was just confused as you. I was like, because I spent like 4 hours reading the last battle, and I
Sure.
kept reading because I was like, oh, the plan was to take a break and like get something to eat and then finish the book.
Yeah,
But after I finished the last battle, I was like, oh, I have to read the next chapter. So I
obviously.
kept going, and I think my brain was just like, no sleep, no food for like 8 hours.
That is
So
not the
yeah,
time to have
it was not
lack
it
of
was not a good
sleep.
idea.
Reading the
Yeah.
end of A Memory of Light, like literally, you're like,
Mhm.
wait, what's going on with Rand? Wait, like, what's
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah, the thing is, everything else I read accurately. It's just that one name I think I read wrong.
Fair, it happens.
So so then I was like, oh, then Rand. So what I read was Rand threw a dagger. It went into her heart. She's dying, and the man was like, "It's okay. I released his bond." I was like, "So why did he throw a dagger at her then? If she released the bond?" I was like, "What's the point of this?"
He doesn't want her to do it again, you know?
Yeah.
I'm
I was
tired of
like, "Does
you.
he hate her that much? It's like, is she a dark friend? Did she do something?" I was so confused.
That's
And
amazing.
then I was like, okay, I have to Google this. So I Googled it, and I was like, so I Googled like, why did Rand kill Alana? And then the first result was, why did Moradin kill Alana? I was like, oh, that's what happened. Moradin.
You like posted TikTok about it, like that was the weirdest thing about the end.
Yeah, I was so
Everyone's
glad I
like,
didn't.
no.
That would have been the worst thing. Yeah, I decided to Google it just before, which
That's fair. It's a
yeah,
good call.
I was so confused. That was the only thing. Was like the end. I was like, that bit didn't make sense. Though I feel like there was something with Alana I missed, and then I realized there wasn't.
And there was.
Yeah, which is that no, Rand didn't kill her, Mora didn't kill her, and then like someone explained on like I saw on Reddit or something. Someone explained why Moradin tried to kill her, and so I was like, oh, because she was bonded to Rand and she had let go, and Moradin had captured her before for this moment. I was like, oh, now I'm just sad. Now I'm
Yeah.
sad about Lana. Before I thought she was a dark friend, and now I'm sad about her.
Yeah.
Um, your background looks like a sword. The sword is coming out of my ears.
I
That lined
did
up
notice
weirdly.
that.
No, that lined up really weirdly.
Somebody's asking, Cage Books is asking, have you guys read the deleted A Memory of Light sequence called River of Souls? It makes Demandred make sense. No. Is
Oh,
that
yes,
available?
I have read that.
Where was that?
So there was this book called Unfettered, which is like for a charity.
Okay.
I think it was charity or something like that, and it was like a collection of like short stories from different fantasy authors, and one of them was from Robert Jordan Brandon Sanderson, where it's like a relatively short chapter, like maybe 10, 12 pages, about so Damon Dreddle, Bao the Wild, when he was in Shara, he did something, and he like the sangreal he had.
Yeah.
It's a chapter explaining how he got that and how
Okay.
he sort of became the leader of the Sharan army.
Oh.
So I think the plan was to have that chapter before, and then Sanderson explained it as basically because Robert Jordan once said that they're never going to go to Shara. He's never going to show what happens in Shara.
Mm-hmm.
But then Sanderson was like, "Oh, I want to go somewhere out of like normal." So he wrote about Shara, and then Harriet was like, "It doesn't make sense to like in the last half of the last book go to a completely different culture for just one chapter." It would have been a bit,
That's
yeah,
fair.
and it would also made it predictable. I mean, it would have been like it doesn't say demanded at all throughout the chapter. Like right at the end of the chapter, you realize, oh, the person that he's trying to kill is Rand, and then you're like, oh, he's one of the Forsaken. Then you get that feeling, but I guess because you never find out, because that chapter was cut when he suddenly shows up, you're surprised.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's that chapter, River of Souls. There's one more as well. I think one of the other charity books released had like a whole, I think it's like 50, 60 pages or something. I haven't read that yet, but it's not a deleted scene. It's more of like an alternate storyline where
Okay.
Perrin and this team of like soldiers go through one of the way gates to close the way gates from the inside.
Uh-huh.
You know, the way gate in Camelin. So I think in the book, they kind of made the plan. I was like, oh, can we close it from the inside? And I was like, no, we shouldn't go into the ways. But Sanderson actually did write a scene where, like, a whole quest where they went into the ways to, like, close it from the inside and stuff. But I haven't read that yet.
I didn't even know these existed. That's awesome. I want to
Yeah.
read them. I also haven't read the Ravens chapter or whatever either.
Oh, that one is so cute.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I want to read it now that I know what it's about.
Well, when you finish the book, then you read it. It's heartbreaking because you know what's about to happen to all of these kids. But if you read it first, it's cute.
Okay.
It's literally like Egwene like fetching water, and I think it's like the day before Beltane or something.
Aw.
Or something like that. And it's like they're all working hard at shearing their sheep and, you know, collecting the wool and stuff. And Egwene is collecting water for the people to drink, and she's constantly like, I'm going to be the best water collector ever. And then she meets Matt, and she's like, oh, that kid is a problem. And then she meets Rand, and she's like really embarrassed to talk to Rand, and she's like, Perrin is silent, but he's nice, and all that kind of stuff. So it's them as basically like 10, 12-year-olds, 10 or 12. And it's cute. Yeah.
I definitely want to read that.
Yeah.
Cute.
That's a really good scene. Also, talking of Alana, there was a question in your quiz about Perrin, who who I didn't think was going to be a big deal, and it turned out into one of the best characters in the whole thing.
Yeah, spoilers for the books, all the books. Once again, yeah, that dress is green. Oh boy, that was excellent.
That was a moment. Because I thought that whole thing was going to be about Egwene, like, doing her whole thing in the tower, and then, like, Perrin randomly comes in and is like, I'm a dark friend. That took me... I did not predict that at all.
Yeah.
Apparently there were clues, but I didn't see any. I didn't pick up anything.
Well, I think Moraine, even in her note, maybe to Rand, said, like, don't trust anyone, any Aes Sedai. And doesn't she say, like, even Varen and Alana or something like that? So, like, there's that. Also, Varen was doing, like, wasn't she really good at compulsion? Or, like, she was...
Yeah.
So there were a few things that were like...
That's true. I guess I forgot that bit. Yeah.
This is a little dark. But yeah, the fact that she was still brown, like browns are gonna brown, and she's like taking notes about all the Black Ajah people, and she like created a book for it. Like, what a badass! Like, of all the brown, like she's a brown at heart. Of all the browns, easily the best by 1,000 yards.
Yeah. And the fact that she was like, there's a loophole in the oath, like the hour before my death, until the hour of my death, and she's like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm dying. I'm going to die in the next hour, so I can tell you everything. Yep. That was one of the most badass things that anyone has done on the whole series.
So awesome.
She's like, I've spent my lifetime collecting all of these names, and just to be able to tell you, I'm going to kill myself. And that was like the most incredible thing. I was like, oh my god, when I reread, I need to pay respect to Varen.
Oh yeah,
she's been working hard. She's been working hard, like this whole time.
Such a boss. Yeah. Love her.
When all of these people have been running around with their petty squabbles, Varen has been collecting the names of 200, like, Black Ajah.
Just taking notes, you know? Mm-hmm. You love to see it.
Single-handedly purged.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Egwene did the thing, but, like, she collected all the information.
Yeah.
You know, to single-handedly purge the tower.
Amazing.
Just incredible. Anyway, this has been fun. If you don't follow Critter, do. If you read Wheel of Time and you don't follow Critter, like, what are you doing?
Saber Anex.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's the end of our conversation. I cut it down a little bit, but we went about an hour and a half just gushing about the Wheel of Time. So I hope you enjoyed what I posted here. And finally, I would like to thank my amazing patrons and members. You all are fabulous. Thank you so much for all of your support. I would not be nearly as motivated to do what I do without you. If you want to join this amazing group of people, you can become a patron on Patreon or a member on YouTube. We hang out on my Discord, it's a super good time, and if I go live on YouTube and Twitch, which I do relatively often, if you're in the chat on YouTube, then you'll have access to special emojis. That's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had an amazing time talking to Anex, and I'm so proud of him for finishing the books. Don't forget to please give him a follow and a sub and whatever else on all of his other platforms. His details are in the description of the video. And that's it. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.